My father used to say to me, don't be afraid of a ghost with a lantern. In our Acadian tradition, we don't tell ghost stories to be scared, but to stay warm. And this is the legend of a tragedy turned into a light of providence. Way back when, before lighthouses became towers of concrete and electricity, Baie de Chaleurs belonged to the dark. A darkness so thick that we could almost lean your shoulder against it. And in the New Brunswick winter, the dark is more than just a lack of light. It's a physical weight. It's like a thick, wet wool blanket soaked in salt and frozen pine. Now, imagine an Acadian fishing village in the 1800s. In that dark, stormy night, a thick mist, timber shacks huddled like scared sheep against the rough limestone cliffs. The hungry months have already settled into that heart of that village. The wood piles are damp, and the oil in the lamps is stretched so thin that they can barely cast a shadow. And up there, beyond the seawall, the Atlantic is a black, churning throat, ready to swallow any fisherman brave enough to seek the herring. The dark is so dense that silence becomes a threat. And you don't just lose yourself into it. You start to forget the memory of the sun. It's like you start to believe that the world was always cold and dark, and the dawn just forgot its way back to the shore. But the elders, you know, the ones who squinted at a thousand horizons, they know the secret hidden in the heart of that stone. You could hear them in their houses, whispering of the word le vaisseau fantôme, or the ghost ship, or la Baie de Chaleurs. Some says it's a Portuguese ship that just lost its way, trying to find the hidden passage that never was in the 1500s. But those who knows, like us, there's a British man of war who caught fire during the bloody battle of Ristigouche in 1760. The story goes like when the cannons raged and the wood splintered, the captain never refused to strike its colors to surrender. So on his deck, while the flames were licking the topmast of his ship, he vowed to sail these water until the end of time before he surrendered. So the ship never sank, just burned itself into the atmosphere of the bay. And the spectral vessel is glowing of iron and charred oak, like the ocean never extinguished, becoming a prisoner of the tide. So for the past 200 years, the ship is sailing, lost in the fog, and cursed to never find harbor. So now the storm in that village is stronger. The winds blows through the rigging of the fishing ship on the shore. The sleet becomes grinding needles. And when the villagers thought they were at the hollowest part of that dark, stormy night, a spark in the sky catches the eyes. It's not a light of a star. No, the clouds are too thick, too dark for any light for any stars to shine through. No, it's not a light of a lantern. It's far too vast. No, in the pitch black mist, a three-mast ship is it's rising from the waves. It is not made of timber. It is made of a pure, shimmering light. Now picture it. It's a massive ship. All the lines and ropes are glowing of white gold. The massive sails are flickering ember with a mythical wind filling their bellies. The three masts are standing tall, pointing towards the heaven, glowing like pillars of light. And there's no smoke to choke the air, and there's no heat to melt the ice. It's like a cold flame. It's not a light that burns the skin, no. It's a light that carves a hole in the center in the gale. It is massive, and yet it slides on the water, gracefully and silently, like the storm is afraid to touch it. So for a moment, the whole bay is illuminated like it was noon, revealing every crest of every waves for miles. Now, a stranger looking at this would have screamed, ran to his house, locking its doors, taking this an omen of death. But the fisherman, the Acadian one, you think he's scared? No, doesn't run. Goes even towards the water's edges and look at the flames of that ship and analyze it. Because you see, in the local tradition, the ghost ship is a light of providence. So when the flame is steady, calm, glowing of a milky whiteness, means the dark is lifted. But it's more than that. It acts as a magical beacon, revealing every hidden reefs and all the safe water for sailors to sail. But the true magic is the glowing part, the spectral glow, reflecting on the surface of the water, revealing a million of silver scales, showing that the fish are back to the bay. So the light in the dark means the ocean is open. The fish are back. The village will go hungry no more. So when the first smudge of the light, the first smudge of the dawn that touches the sky, the burning shape starts to thin, begins to thin. It doesn't plunge under the water, no. It starts to dissolve into the bay. So the glowing mast starts to disappear, to evaporate into a mist. And the cells are starting to blend with the morning fog. So the ship is no more, leaving no traces behind, only the smell of salt and the noise and the sound of waves, the tide. So we tend to be afraid of ghosts, to be afraid of that they are there to haunt us. But in the North Atlantic, it's a different story. They're not here to hunt. Like us, they were stuck in the dark. They were afraid like us, but now they're just neighbors of centuries ago, holding up a lantern and helping us to show our way home. So next time that you're stuck in the dark or in the storm, maybe the light that you're used to fear might save your life.